It's another season of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics on InterswitchSPAK Nigeria National Science Competition 2.0, where innovators are made. Last season, over 15,000 students across Nigeria registered for the competition, and eventually, Akachukwu Anumudu from Apostolic Faith Secondary School emerged as Nigeria's best science student and winner of 7.5 million naira worth of university scholarship.
And now to the moment we've all been waiting for, the one with the bragging rights and the title of Nigeria's best science student. Please give it up for Akachukwu Anumudu.
You have honored us, and God will continue to honor you. Congratulations.
I think academic excellence runs in the family because the father is intelligent, so am I too.
I was among those that made grade 1 when my wife was still graded. It's replicated in my children. All of them are doing very well.
The success has made me to work harder, has changed the way of doing it because I want to be better than him.
I was very happy as the head of school. I felt fulfilled.
I was happy because God answered my prayers. I was happy because He made the school proud. And I was happy because He made His parents proud.
Oh my God, you need to see me that day.
I was 10 feet tall.
There was first shock, then the happiness started setting in. I finally understood that I actually won.
This is my boy, this is my student in my class, it makes me feel achieved as a teacher.
My first memorable moment was when I qualified for the final. I didn't think I would scale through because it was a sudden end. I was like, if I don't press this buzzer, this is how I'm not going to go home like this.
Night blindness.
Vitamin A.
And that was the correct answer.
I want to study electronic engineering at the University of Lagos State. I want to do this because I can see Nigeria moving far in terms of technology advancement in the next decade or two.
He should not think that he has achieved. He's just starting. There are still so many hurdles for him to cross.
This is just the beginning for him.
All he needs to do is to maintain his composure. God giving me life, my wife, we're here to give him the 110%.
Proud of myself, I've achieved something for this short life of mine. I pray that this is just my starting point.
InterswitchSPAK Nigeria National Science Competition 2.0 kicked off with a press conference on 6th March 2019 in Lagos, Nigeria. The press conference had in attendance top government representatives, stakeholders, media partners, educational partners, the InterswitchSPAK 1.0 winner, some finalists and secondary school students.
Following the successful completion of 1.0, we're excited to bring to you InterswitchSPAK 2.0. Thank you. So this, we promise, is going to be bigger and a better edition. In this second phase, we hope to discover new science rock stars, involve more female talent, and uncover brighter solutions to more societal problems.
Thank you very much. Personally, the thought of winning the competition did not come to my mind when I was among the 9 finalists. But then again, it's 1.5 million. Just know that number. Imagine as the winner, I really put my life in a spin. That I was interviewed so much that I actually lost count how many times. Just so many pictures and the lights actually filled my eyes. So my advice to every student that will be registered and eventually write the Interswitch 2.0 qualification exams and making it through is to put in their best effort and see whether they can win. Regardless of that, they should remember that only one winner will emerge and they should enjoy the fun of Interswitch 2.0 while it lasts.
It has really helped to build my confidence and it has really
served to show me that girls can actually do it and that girls are not just subordinates and all.
My first question is why you chose to do a scholarship prize instead of cash prize?
The purpose of having the star prize in the first place is to fund your education. Now, to reduce the risk of somebody taking the cash prize and using it for a different purpose for which the prize was meant for, is why we chose to opt for a scholarship. So with the scholarship, it ensures that the star prize is used for the purpose for which it was meant for, so that the student doesn't, or rather somebody else doesn't collect the money and use it to buy a house or buy a car, and then defeats the purpose for which we had this competition in the first place.
I want to know how you intend to bridge the gender gap, because we know that most females don't want to participate in STEM education because they have phobia. So what's your plan to get more females?
Well, I don't think that girls are afraid of STEM. In my school, NSS2 Gold, that's the best science class. There are 30 of them and there are 15 boys, 15 girls. I believe that most of some schools don't actually give them that opportunity or the chance or the privilege to go out there and spark up and shine. So I think that maybe in this Interswitch operation and this event, girls give more opportunities.
Thank you.
Participation is across. But what we've noticed is that students from public schools struggle to make the second phase, which is the top 81. That will change, and that's one of the reasons why Tolokwa is here, because he has proven one thing, that it's not about the school that you attend, it's about what is inside of you and your determination. He said something that you guys did not catch. He said he was put in a group where there were 4 ambassador students. If you operate in that space, you know what that means. It's like Nigeria playing Brazil. If you know what I mean. The chances of you qualifying for that group is very slim. And he has said that, you know what, if you do it from a public school, I can make it.
What keeps you going when everything that should be a stepping stone becomes a stumbling block? What keeps you going is Verve. Verve in your mind helps you understand that every stumbling block is actually a stepping stone. Verve in your vision helps you see nothing but possibilities. And Verve in your hand? Well, let's just say that's how you get rewarded for not giving up on you. No matter what you're into, Verve is key to opening the doors you want. The only question that really matters is, have you got Verve? Verve, the rewarding way to make payments.
Penicillin, ethanol, flour, sugar, glue, whiskey, cornstalk, starch, oil, livestock feed, all from corn. You will discover endless opportunities when you search deeper, and to enjoy their full worth, you need an innovative payment solutions partner that creates value from the obvious and sees opportunity in the not so obvious.
IntersWitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on. The next milestone project was the InterswitchSPAK National Qualifying Examination, which took place on Saturday, 13th April 2019, where over 19,000 SS2 students from about 2,910 schools wrote the test across 90 centers in Nigeria.
I prepared very well for this examination by having a lot of extra classes to coach me in advance, and then I expect excellent performance to be able to proceed to next level.
I expect to make it to the next round of the competition.
At the end of the 95-minute examination, some of these students spoke about their examination experience and their expectations.
The question was kind of okay because I've actually seen questions like that in textbooks during studying.
My exam was somehow simple.
The exam was okay. It was not too hard like I expected it to be.
I expect to pass.
I don't really think that I will qualify for the next stage.
I actually expect a good result.
I'm going to qualify to the next level.
What keeps you going when everything that should be a stepping stone becomes a stumbling block? What keeps you going is Verve. Verve in your mind helps you understand that every stumbling block is actually a stepping stone. Verve in your vision helps you see nothing but possibilities. And Verve in your hand? Well, let's just say that's how you get rewarded for not giving up on you. No matter what you're into, Verve is key to opening the doors you want. The only question that really matters is, have you got Verve? Verve, the rewarding way to make payments.
The InterswitchSPAK 2.0 Science TV competition commenced with the arrival and welcoming of the 81 students that came tops in the national qualifying examination. These top 81 science students were accompanied by their parents, guardians, and teachers.
When I saw his name, I wasn't too surprised because I so believe that he will.
Ìgbà tí mo gbọ́ pé ọmọ mi qualify for competition, inú mi dùn. Mo fọpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run.
We're talking about the top 80 science students in Nigeria, and he's a part of it. I mean, any mom would be proud. Any mom.
The students also relished the welcome dinner, which was super packed with information and fun.
So who can tell me the abbreviation, the meaning of SPAK, S-P-A-K?
It means speed, perseverance, accuracy, and knowledge.
Yes, she got it right. Basically, we'll be testing your speed, perseverance, accuracy, and knowledge on the 4 major science subjects: maths, physics, chemistry, and biology.
Mo pe Jókòó, mo fún nímọ̀ràn kó jọ ikọ̀ tó mú wá sí bíbáyìí ni kó fojú sí, kó má kọ̀rẹ̀kọ̀rẹ̀ ní bíbáyìí, kó jọ kó ṣàánú mi.
I have told him not to be overconfident.
I actually downloaded some past episodes of SPAK competition, and we checked it together.
And we try to help her at home, to time to study, time to rest, time to focus on what she's doing.
Anything you do starting from now will be very important, and especially about your masterclass tomorrow. Masterclass is very important as you will have speakers that will speak to you on different topics that will help your life in the future. So our advice that you all note down whatever they say and whatever they give to you.
The beauty of this competition is it's national, so you have people from different parts of the country who have come for the competition. So there's the work bit of it, there's also the play bit of it, which is where you make friends, you relate, and then you also learn something new. For me, that's very critical for him.
Also, it's going to lift the fortunes of the school, and not only the school, the teachers as well.
This will also help her by the time she'll be doing her work by next session or JAMB. So the competition has really given her the drive to want to read more.
Chances are high you're going to meet your next business partner here. Connect on different levels with people, exchange numbers, exchange email address, follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't just live here.
I think this initiative is wonderful. It is excellent, and I believe it will help our country.
SPAK competition is one of the best competitions in terms of science and technology.
It's a wonderful one, and we keep, saying they are doing a very good job.
Beyond that, I think it's the impact IntersWitch is making with this, discovering young scientists in Nigeria, bringing people together, identifying and helping people, young people, find the potential within them as regards science.
The impact I think it will have on my son is that it will help him to be more confident, able to face the world, able to face challenges, begin to think innovatively.
One, it builds confidence in them. Two, it helps them to be academically stable.
Tọ́mọ mi bá win inú mi á dùn, máa fọpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run, mo fọpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run náà ni àmọ́ máa túbọ̀ máa fọpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run.
Penicillin, ethanol, flour, sugar, glue, whiskey, cornstalk, starch, oil, livestock feed, all from corn. You will discover endless opportunities when you search deeper, and to enjoy their full worth, you need an innovative payment solutions partner that creates value from the obvious and sees opportunity in the not so obvious.
Interswitch.
transaction solutions you can depend on.
There is a special breed of people who are never satisfied, who will not recognize the boundaries of day and night, who never compromise, who want the next thing they create to be better than anything that's gone before. People like this aren't always easy to live with. At IntersWitch, we owe them everything. Because of them, we continue to create a range of payment solutions that are quick, safe, and easy to use for anyone from a big bank to a salon. And by coming up with answers to problems before the problems happen, we've always stayed ahead of the curve. Without our special people, we wouldn't be IntersWitch. So, wherever your imagination takes you, we will be there with the payment solutions you need to thrive.
IntersWitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
On the 19th of August 2019, the InterswitchSPAK Masterclass was held in Nigeria for the top 81 students.
Essence of today's masterclass is to ensure that you all are well-rounded and properly integrated into the society. Beyond the classroom, you will become people who work in multinationals and big organizations, conglomerates, and there's the need for you to understand the ethics of the workplace and how you relate properly in life.
This masterclass is to help open up your mind into what is possible leveraging STEM education. So we have deemed it imperative to bring together you 81 brilliant young minds to this masterclass to draw from experiences and insights of accomplished thought leaders, thinkers, and professionals who are leading lights in their respective spheres of influence. Our hope is that the learnings and interactions from these sessions will inspire your minds to contribute your quota to solving Africa's many problems, whilst also providing you the right mental and emotional foundations upon which to build your character for the long haul.
The InterswitchSPAK Masterclass was an educative and interactive session where 3 key speakers in person of Ayokunu Ojeni, Ola Orekunrin Brown, and Mitchell Elegbe prepared these students for their future.
I spent the morning speaking to them about social innovation, how they can turn the problems that they see around them in this country as opportunities where they can make long-lasting impact for generations to come, and of course for their own generation.
In Nigeria, we live in a country of problems. And so social innovation is looking at the situation, framing the question, looking at the problem, and thinking to yourself, creating an idea that can help you meet that need. And in the process of meeting that need, you've touched lives of several millions, and you have created tremendous value. And we have a lot of examples of the world. There's one man, Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh, who realized that a lot of women are very poor. They can't take care of their children, they can't eat, and he thought to himself, perhaps if we can create a micro loan to people. And I'm happy that InterSwitch is, in Nigeria now, we have a lot of micro loans, people using InterSwitch data to generate algorithms that can give people micro loans. So he thought to himself, let us give people $2, $3 loan. And that's the way it started. And before you knew it, a lot of women were taking that loan. They would go to their villages, invest in small products, sell. And after every 30 days, he was amazed that women were returning the money. And as they were returning the money, he had more money to give to people. And he was giving more money to people. The economy of the village got better. And today, he has given over $24 billion in loan to 9 billion people. So social innovation is looking at problems that confront us as individuals and look for ways to solve it. About 2.5 years ago, I was in a conversation with a younger friend, and I just asked him, what was your project about? And he said his project is, they were able to come up with a public complaint system in the university. And he all of a sudden jumped at me that Nigeria as a country, we can have a public complaint system that people who have complaints as citizens can just directly reach out to people in government. And so the moment that idea came into my mind, I started asking myself, how would we do it? So I got this young man, and I said, you know what, let's build one for Nigeria. And so as we're working on it, we were able to come up with a prototype. And that prototype was developed, and someday one opportunity just came. The vice president was giving a speech somewhere, and he said, the federal government needs a public complaint system. The moment the vice president spoke about it, I just said, yes, this might be the opportunity. And I said, okay. And they said they were going to organize a hackathon, a competition. And I went for the competition. Of course, I won. And when I won, I was given an invitation to come and present to the vice president. I presented it, and that's one of the reasons why today I work in the office of vice president. There are always problems around you. Those problems represent darkness. Innovation is the light bulb that can shine through the darkness. And as we become more innovative as citizens, we will change our countries one idea, one step at a time.
It was a great moment sharing insights on social innovation with the people and how they can turn the disadvantages or the problems they see everywhere in Nigeria into positions that they can ride on to create long-lasting solutions and impact on Nigeria.
I remember reading the Google story many years ago, how Google became the monster that it is today. Just two young men who were in Stanford, PhD, they got on an idea, let's create a search system, and they were working on it. But it got to a point that they realized that we needed more money. We can't go ahead if we don't get money to get this thing done. So they thought to themselves, we need to be able to speak to people. Let's speak to people, let's share this story. Let us give them a picture of what we're trying to build. And in the process of doing that, they were able to share their story, and someone on the bonnet of his car first gave them the first $100,000 that they invested in Google. And from there, they were able to get money. As they attained a milestone, they will share another story and say, with this $100,000, we've been able to go this far. If we get $1 million, this is what we are going to do. And they kept going, and of course, they built a multi-billion-dollar company.
How do you know when to give up on the plan that is not working out?
There's something in finance called danger of sunk cost. Because you've put in 10 million naira, you already see the signs that this business is not growing. But you said, I can't just allow my 10 million just go down the drain. I have to keep at it. But you've already seen the signs. So you borrowed more money, 5 million, let's put it. You ignored the signs that the business is giving onto you because you've sunk some money into it and you don't want to lose that investment. Sometimes it's good to just look away. But in looking away, make sure you've tried your best.
If you start a project too early, it is bound to fail. So how do you know when you've planned sufficiently and when you're to start doing rather than planning?
There's a fine line between planning and doing. And I should just tell you that you need to do a lot of planning before you move. But planning is not the same thing as worrying. Don't get too bogged down about the problems such that you're immobilized and you cannot move. In planning and thinking about planning, you should identify the problems, and your planning should involve a thinking session, a strategy that would help solve the problems that you might face when you start executing. But don't let those problems necessarily immobilize you.
Do you think it's possible to combine humanities and science in order to create innovation? Because I feel like in Nigeria there's a constant battle between science and humanities, especially between parents always want their children to be related to all the STEM jobs and neglect humanities.
So while you may take on the physics now, I urge you not to lose your interest in those areas, because they would definitely, the combination of both ends would definitely enrich your execution. So today now I advise the president on industrial and investment, but the way I'm able to critically look at solutions, at problems, came from my science training.
When we did engineering, didn't have this kind of advice. But these young ones, what they are receiving, they're more like things that for their life, they will appreciate it.
I was able to learn the social problems and the ways to tackle such issues.
I learned that creativity isn't enough.
I learned
that I should take responsibilities for my actions, that for every problem I see out there, I should not just complain about it, I should do something about it.
You were filled with so much intelligence and insight. I must commend Interswitch for selecting some of these brightest minds in this country. And I believe that investments that have made in them today would count and speak for Nigeria at some point in the future.
There is a special breed of people who are never satisfied, who will not recognize the boundaries of day and night, who never compromise, who want the next thing they create to be better than anything that's gone before. People like this aren't always easy to live with. At Interswitch, we owe them everything. Because of them, we continue to create a range of payment solutions that are quick, safe, and easy to use for anyone, from a big bank to a salon. And by coming up with answers to problems before the problems happen, we've always stayed ahead of the curve. Without our special people, we wouldn't be Interswitch. So wherever your imagination takes you, we will be there with the payment solutions you need to thrive.
Interswitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
What keeps you going when everything that should be a stepping stone becomes a stumbling block? What keeps you going is Verve. Verve in your mind helps you understand that every stumbling block is actually a stepping stone. Verve in your vision helps you see nothing but possibilities. And Verve in your hand? Well, let's just say that's how you get rewarded for not giving up on you. No matter what you're into, Verve is key to opening the doors you want. The only question that really matters is, have you got Verve? Verve, the rewarding way to make payments.
Hello, my name is Dr. Ola Brown, and I'm here at the Interswitch National Science Competition. As science students, as engineers, as doctors, as scientists, as biologists, our hard skills are really important. Our technical skills, the chemistry, the physics, the biology is really important. And it's important for national development, it's important for research and development, it's important for innovation. But what is emphasized less are the complementary skill sets, which we've been concentrating on today.
I'm going to be sharing 3 pieces of advice that I learned over time, building my business over the past 10 years. Next year will be my 10th year in business. The first lesson is how you use your time at university, and that's one of the things that I really wished that I had done better. So a lot of the time I was focused on my course, but not necessarily taking all the other opportunities that were available to me. So I didn't use the internet very well to look at what to do over summer holidays. I worked in most of my holidays, but I didn't use my skills as effectively as I could have. I also learned Japanese in university, mostly self-taught. But I could have learned a few other languages in university. Like in university, you actually have a lot of spare time. Like when I think about all the time that I had in university, I feel like I could have used my time a lot better. But I did start learning Japanese at the beginning of medical school in my first year. And by the end, I was offered a scholarship worth over $100,000 to come and study medicine in Japan. I was the first Black woman ever to be awarded that scholarship to Japan, and it was because I used my extra time at least to be familiar with the language. So when I was taking the exams, when I was doing the interviews, I really stood out amongst the other people that were going for the scholarship. And also, I started a business when I was in university. I got a job selling shoes. And in 2003, Beyonce now came out with a song. And her and Jay-Z, you can't remember this song ever. It was called 03 Bonnie and Clyde. And she was wearing these very tall Timberland boots. And Jay-Z was also there wearing these Timberland boots. So all of a sudden, my business just went crazy because everybody was looking for these tall boots. And luckily, my store had a lot of those boots. So I started selling them online. And actually, I was generating probably 3 to 4 times the salary that I was supposed to earn. So it's a good time to experiment with business when the stakes are quite low. And a lot of the lessons I learned from that my small shoe business, understanding when you've made a profit or not, understanding like strategy, managing time, managing people. So I learned very quickly about managing people, communicating with people online, and making sure that I got my money. Second is relationships. Building relationships is part of the university experience. The third thing is money. A lot of you, when you go to university, it's the first real opportunity you have to manage some cash. It's the first time that you're really holding money and going to pay for your own food, maybe paying for your own accommodation, maybe getting a salary from a job for the first time, maybe managing your own bank account. And one of the things that I didn't do well enough was know the meaning of that money. What can be done with that money? How can it grow? The value of really putting some money aside and seeing how that money can grow is really important as well. So my last point, and probably the most important that I'm going to end on, is really, really focus on yourself and know your values and know your strengths, and don't be obsessed with what anybody else is doing. Sometimes, especially when you're in that transition from secondary school, early university, the first year in university, last few years in secondary school, we seem so fixated on being popular and looking good. And, I could never dance as well. But now, like 15, 20 years on, where are the dancers? Where are the people that were so good looking that I was envying all the time? They've not had as much business success as me. So why was I so fixated on being like them?
Hopefully, young people in SS2 and SS3 here today, science whizzes, all of them, some of the most brilliant students in the country, can sort of learn some of these lessons that perhaps we didn't get the opportunity to learn at their age and take it forward. And with this, in a few years, we should be seeing some pretty innovative science and technology startups in the next 10 to 20 years coming from the audience here.
Is it possible to be cool and still balance your academic life?
I think it is. Some of the cool people in my class are doing very well. So I won't say that none of them are, but I think you always have to remember the primary reason why you're in school, which is to get a degree. And if you can be cool while doing that, why not?
What if what you want to do will not really earn you money, but doing it, you have fun doing it? Should you still go for it?
Let me be frank with you. It depends on your background. Honestly, like if you come from a very, very wealthy family where you can fail 1,000 times and that there's a check waiting for you at home, then please do what you like. But if when you are coming out of school, that your first salary, your parents are even going to be asking how you are going to divide it, then that is a different story entirely. You need to maybe do something that perhaps is not your end goal to make money before where you really want to be. To the lady that asked about stealing of ideas, it's really interesting that people are very, very, very concerned about their ideas. And it is possible for people to steal your ideas. Be wise about your idea, but I think the focus should be more on execution. I mean, Dangote is probably the richest man in Africa. Cement is not a secret. In the 80s, when people were bringing in cement, cement had been manufactured over 100 years ago. It's not the idea that mattered. Anybody could wake up and say, I want to have the idea of manufacturing cement. But not everybody could have the executional capacity to produce the cements at the scale that would make them the richest black man alive. So a lot of the businesses, what does he do? Sugar, pasta, salt. These are not secrets.
From the second speaker, Dr. Ola, I learned that it is not enough to focus solely on academics. You have to experiment, try things out, get into business, do other things, build your skill set while in secondary school, and also university and other tertiary institutions.
She said we should use our time wisely. We should do something about our lives, learn a language, start a business.
And maybe realize that academic success is not only the basis for life, but we also need to venture other things and know other things.
I learned to chase the important things while in high school, and that we should build strong relationships and forget the pursuit of popularity.
Penicillin, ethanol, flour, sugar, glue, whiskey, cornstalk, starch, oil, livestock feed, all from corn. You will discover endless opportunities when you search deeper, and to enjoy their full worth, you need an innovative payment solutions partner that creates value from the obvious and sees opportunity in the not so obvious.
IntersWitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
What keeps you going when everything that should be a stepping stone becomes a stumbling block? What keeps you going is Verve. Verve in your mind helps you understand that every stumbling block is actually a stepping stone. Verve in your vision helps you see nothing but possibilities. And Verve in your hand? Well, let's just say that's how you get rewarded for not giving up on you. No matter what you're into, Verve is key to opening the doors you want. The only question that really matters is, have you got Verve? Verve, the rewarding way to make payments.
I realized that today a lot of talented people don't excel in life because of some attributes that typically they should have, but somehow with the way today's society is all about, we end up not having some of those skills. And I thought trust was a very important one to talk about.
What exactly do I mean when I ask the question, can I trust you? I was doing trading in school. I was buying t-shirts, selling. I was recording cassettes, then replicating and selling, okay? Well, how did I start? I went to a friend of mine from a rich home whom I knew had lots of money because he was saving. So I walked up to him and I said, look, Egono, I'd like to borrow some money from you, okay? And this is what I want to do with it. And I'm going to pay you an interest on the money. So I'm going to make your money work for you. So he gave it to me. I was in University of Benin, traveled to Onitsha to buy some cassettes. On my way back to school, I stopped by a place called Pro Bois Recording Studios. And I walked in there and I told Jonah, I'm a student. I've got cassettes to sell. Would you like to buy? And guess what? He bought everything. And immediately I could see that I've made more than my allowance for the next 2 months. I didn't go back to school. I took the next car back to Onitsha to buy more cassettes. As soon as I came back, I went to him. I said, Legono, this is the money you gave to me, and this is the interest I promised you. In fact, I'm giving you more money than I promised you because business went very well. From there, he will come to me and say, Mitchell, don't you need money for business? Don't be deceived that because you are just extremely smart, you've got high IQ, then your future is set for you. It will be very painful if you have all of these things and because of something as simple as trust, you are unable to maximize your potential. And that is why I felt it is important to talk about trust today.
The basic trust was to allow people to understand that it is one thing to be very successful when it comes to academics, but to succeed in life, there are a few other attributes that you must have. And trust is one of them. So the approach I used, being a science class, was to talk to them about a simple formula that they can use to analyze the issues of trust.
So trust has a very simple formula. This being a science class is something I think you guys should try to note, okay? Trust is about credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by self-orientation. Credibility is about words, what you say, while reliability is about your action. I said I would do something, and I have done it. If I say I would do something, and I don't do it, it cancels out, correct? So there's no trust. And then the third leg, the intimacy, is about your emotions. How do you go about doing it? So I think as a student, these are the 4 responsibilities you have when it comes to trust. You need to build trust with your parents and your siblings, trust with your teachers, trust with your friends and peers, and of course, trust with the community that you are in. How do you build trust between you and your parents and your siblings for the point of view of what we've talked about before, about reliability and so on and so forth?
You can build trust with your parents by ensuring that when you tell them that you are going to do something, you make sure you put it into action and make sure it comes out with the best results.
I think when you are accountable to your parents, you'll be trusted by them. For example, if they send you on an errand and then you give full accounts and you're able to balance up with the money they give you, you'll be trusted by them and they will commit more things into your hands.
I believe trust is best built with credibility, and I believe credibility is something that comes over time. If you should keep up with something good and they get to trust you because you have built their credibility based on what you do.
Let's move over to trust with your teachers. How can you build trust with your teachers?
The way to build trust with your teachers is to show a good attitude to learning. You listen in class, you do your homeworks by yourself, you avoid cheating, and you're true to yourself.
Overall, it was a very engaged group of young men and women. When I compare this group to the group we had last year, I think this year we have a bunch of talented people. The quality of the questions that came out this time around was a bit higher than last year.
There's some guy that I have not been able to work with, he keeps chasing me. Why? Because every person he has worked with that knows him, including my former chairman, will tell you, be careful, be careful.
If everybody's telling you be careful about this guy, you better be careful. So he had opportunity to build trust somewhere along the line. He did not do it. It's working against him now. And that is why I'm saying your parents will trust you with more if you know what trust is. Your friends will refer you to people because they know you can be trusted. Your teachers will vouch for you. There are times things will happen and your teachers will hear, say, no, it's not possible. That boy cannot do this. They trust you. There's one other important point I'd like to bring out. This is about equality and equity. And I think the picture on the screen explains this very well. And this is one value I think you all must have if you want to excel in life. If you look at the picture on the screen, there are 3 boxes. Equality means give each person a box to stand on. But as you can see, you still don't achieve the objective because the shortest of them all still cannot see the game, correct? Equity says, if you don't need it, don't take it. Give it instead to the person that needs it so that overall we can achieve our objectives, which is to watch the game. The truth is that equality only works if we all have equal strengths, equal abilities. You may not know this. When I started IntersWitch, we needed some money to start a business, okay? Started IntersWitch 3 years after NYC. So I had no money. I just had an idea. We went to talk to banks, not a loan, equity. But who had to speak up for me? My employer. We trust him, he's reliable, and that is how I became CEO, okay, without having any money, 3 years after NYC. Trust. As the youths of this country, and as we begin to grow, if you want to change your environment, you need to be smart to a few other things beyond your science subjects. You need to begin to look at people's characters and behaviors and begin to determine what they really stand for, okay? On that note, I'd like to stop there and take any questions that you may have.
Please, I just wanted to ask, is it possible to attain equity when the person with the highest is not willing to share?
Straight answer to your question, is the man that has more than enough that willingly gives. You cannot say, in the spirit of equity, please give me. That is extortion. It's not your money. And so the message I'm passing out is that if you have more than enough, okay, there is nothing wrong in sharing. But it is the decision of the man who has more than enough to share.
You didn't talk about this, but I assume it's part of the topic because it's on the slide. I was curious about what the quote means.
This is my favorite quote. Everybody knows me for that, okay? When the facts change, I change my mind. I'm not God. No man ever has all the information they need to take a decision. And you cannot keep waiting forever before you can take a decision. So sometimes you have to look for information, and based on what you can see, take a decision there and then. But as you take that decision, do not be a slave to that decision, is what I'm saying. Always be free to reevaluate where you are and say, no, I need to change. You may lose some friends, but if it's the right thing to do, you must do it.
They've been taught that success is not only about being in the classroom. There are things that go along with it. And you may be brilliant, but brilliance is not just enough. You know, talent is not enough. You need to relate with people. You need to build relationships with your teachers, with your parents, with your friends, with your peers, and with your community.
From the third speaker, I learned to differentiate equity from equality. Equity is giving people their chances according to what they need, while equality is giving everyone the same opportunity.
What I really took away was that if you're making a mistake, you should not be afraid to admit it. There was a quote that he highlighted, "When facts change, so do I." And it struck me because sometimes I find it difficult to change my mind. I just want to be consistent, even though it seems like evidence should drive me another way.
I also learned that equity is a better way to equality. We should have empathy for humans.
What I learned was that
I'm in a stage in my life where I have to focus, where I have to find myself, and I have to learn to be trustworthy and how to be successful.
My experience at InterswitchSPAK so far has been wow. When I get home, I'm going to do something about my problems. If it's to pick a bottle, switch up a light, any small step, I'm going to learn the language, I'm going to learn something new, I'm going to start a relationship, create a relationship, keep up with my old ones, and then I'll learn to have empathy for others.
I will definitely put my hand into many different things, try different things as I'm going into the university.
I'm wishing every team, every student by extension, a fantastic time over the next couple of days. Congratulations for making it thus far. I wish you all the best, and I celebrate you in advance. Please put your hands together for yourselves again.
Overall, I think these youngsters are fired up. They believe in what they want to do. And I think as a group and a society, we just need to ensure that we're going to guide them so that they reach out and become what God has destined them to be.
Penicillin, ethanol, flour, sugar, glue, whiskey, cornstalk, starch, oil, livestock feed, all from corn. You will discover endless opportunities when you search deeper, and to enjoy their full worth, you need an innovative payment solutions partner that creates value from the obvious and sees opportunity in the not so obvious.
IntersWitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
There is a special breed of people who are never satisfied, who will not recognize the boundaries of day and night, who never compromise, who want the next thing they create to be better than anything that's gone before. People like this aren't always easy to live with. At IntersWitch, we owe them everything. Because of them, we continue to create a range of payment solutions that are quick, safe, and easy to use for anyone from a big bank to a salon. And by coming up with answers to problems before the problems happen, we've always stayed ahead of the curve. Without our special people, we wouldn't be IntersWitch. So, wherever your imagination takes you, we will be there with the payment solutions you need to thrive.
IntersWitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
My name is Uboja Stephanie from Jesuit Memorial College, Port Harcourt.
One of the shining stars that took part in the InterswitchSPAK National Science Competition Nigeria 1.0, Stephanie was one of the best 81 from the over 13,000 students who wrote the national qualifying tests at the InterswitchSPAK Nigeria 1.0.
I would like to go to Duke University. I want to study biomedical sciences so that I can discover better ways to solve medical challenges of people living in Nigeria.
The 16-year-old was a team's representative in the InterswitchSPAK Nigeria 1.0 Innovation Challenge.
Martians, who are we?
Masterminds and revolutionary scientists.
We all know that games help children to learn very effectively. If you take a look at most of the boys here, they know the names, the surnames, and even the nationalities of many footballers. This is not from just watching EPL or Champions League. This is from years and years of playing Winning 11, FIFA, DLS, anything you want to name. So what we have here is a subject-specific gaming.
I absolutely love the presenter's confidence. She seemed ready to take on the world.
Out of the 1.5 million students, Stephanie brought in her super SPAK qualities in the WAEC examination, where she had the best result overall.
My name is Uboja Stephanie and I'm ready to SPAK.
What happens when an onion cell is placed in a hypertonic solution?
Plasmolysis.
Which structure in plants transport water and solute
Xylem
from the... Which two structures make up the vascular bundles in plants?
Xylem and phloem.
To Stephanie Ugwaja, Chizobam, and all the other super SPAKs, we wish you the very best in your future endeavors. InterswitchSPAK, discovering the next generation of great scientists.
We all know that knowledge is power, is time, and is money. So if you teach a child well and you teach many people well, I'm not just talking about children, the chances are that these people are going to get jobs and this is going to contribute generally to the national revenue. Thank you.
Now, The stage is set for the battle of wits as these top 81 outstanding SS2 students compete for the prize of 12.5 million naira worth of university scholarships and bragging rights as best STEM student in Nigeria on InterswitchSPAK National Science Competition 2.0. Make it a date with us weekly in the next 15 weeks as we showcase the best of Nigeria's STEM students. Join the conversation on our social media handles and see you same time next week as the main challenge begins.